make you so special? Why did he bless you? Think about it. I woke up this morning. Gotta smile when I say that shit.
And we're live. We are live with Ryan Flint, the intrepid.
The intrepid.
I'm kind of branding that word like through the YouTube channel. But anyway,
what's intrepid mean?
Intrepid means adventurous and fearless.
All right. Well, intrepid might be a bit of a stretch, but
well, you did the PCT, the Pacific Crest Trail, so
I did. Well,
I would say that's pretty intrepid.
Yeah, fair enough. That's a little intrepid, but to be fair, I only did half of it. I did.
Oh, you only did half?
I got to mile 1400.
Okay.
Of
okay.
2650 or something like that.
And so you hiked in total 1400 miles?
Yes.
Holy shit.
Yeah, some 0 days in between, and there's skipped some fire closures, but it was pretty much 1400 consecutive.
Wow, how long did this take you?
I did it in 3.5 months-ish, a little bit less, but
okay.
I stay in California
every day, pretty much. Just waking up and just going on a hike.
Yeah, so you take 0 days too, where you get to town, you're tired, your legs are sore, and you take an extra day at a hotel and sleep all day. But besides that, more or less. I did it in 2016. Started on April 20th of 2016 and went to August 5th.
Wow. Literally all summer.
All summer, yeah. I had to cut. The only reason I cut it short was because I had to be back for school. Besides that.
So what was your motive? What was your reasoning for trying this?
Yeah, I just got out of high school and I was, I wanted to do something before I jumped into more school. I wanted to mix it up,
Absolutely.
Get some more perspective.
So it was like a gap year kind of?
Yeah, it was a gap year. I took that year off and hiked.
That's a lot more common in other countries, but that's so cool to me. That's so interesting.
And there was a lot of people from other countries that were there. It was probably half foreigners that were there.
Really?
When you meet people, yeah.
So it's a pretty popular trail around the world?
Yeah, it's one of the big, I want to say it's the second or third longest through hike that's popularized. I mean, I'm sure there's other ones, but the Continental Divide Trail gets longer, and goes from Mexico to Canada too, but it's through like Colorado and Arizona and stuff. And then
I have heard of that one. Yeah. How long is that? Wait, that's one of the Triple Crowns.
Triple
right?
Crowns, yeah.
Which is the Appalachian Trail. What is that? That's 2,100.
It's 2005 something or 24 something.
Okay.
It's a couple hundred miles shorter than the PCT, but it's
okay. But it's a lot of mountains and whatnot.
It's a lot more elevation difference.
So what was the terrain like there?
It changes, because you start off in Mexico, right?
Uh-huh.
And then
it's all desert the first 700 miles or something like that?
Yeah, Kennedy Meadows is kind of the start of the Sierras, and that's at mile 702. But you also there's Mount San Jacinto and stuff, and that's in Idlewild, which is around mile 200. And so you get
say that again, I like that word.
It's San Jacinto.
No,
Idlewild?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of actually a pretty neat town. It was like a town of 2,000 people or 20,000 people-ish, but
it had like its own personality, like
it was super Whole Foodsy type vibe. Everyone riding bikes everywhere in the mountains. No superstores, no fast food type of town.
Sounds like a Cali town.
Yeah, exactly. But that one was at like mile 200, and so you get about 40 miles of mountains there. Get away from the desert, and that's the first time I got snow. And then you hit the Baden-Powell Mountains, or Mount Baden-Powell and the mountains around it, and that's around mile 500. So you get out of the desert a little bit there. But besides that, that's kind of the desert stretch.
Okay.
And you
so you said that was about 500 miles?
It's 700-ish, but minus, 60 or 70 miles of it is mountains. But yeah, that's the rough stuff.
So what was it like showering and whatnot?
You don't.
You did, like whenever you get into town, you shower.
Oh. You take a few. It's just black floors. Water coming off your body is just black, gross. And I feel bad because you don't really realize how much you smell because, you're used to it. Everyone you're around just reeks.
Absolutely.
No one's clean. And so you're not used to it. But then you have to get to a town. And so and how you get to towns is because the trail never just goes through a town.
Okay.
It goes in with, 20 miles.
A little bit. Wow.
Well, you got to go to you find a road and then you put your thumb up and you hitchhike in, and you never realize. But people are pretty friendly with the PCT hikers because they're used to it. Most people are local and they know that we go through and they know we need rides.
I believe that, the small town, yeah.
But we stink. We'll get like 4 or 5 of us in their car, and right when the windows go up, We need
to keep the windows up?
Well, no, we put them back down. We figured that out quick. But we'll get in and we just destroy their car. I mean,
so
it's
how
bad.
long, like, what was your longest wait?
Without getting to a town, or?
Yeah, without, like, just, like, sticking your thumb out at the...
Oh, probably 5 hours. There was one, and that one was considerably longer than the rest.
Wow.
But it was annoying, because it was in an area where we're kind of going to this... We're going to a campsite to stay at, so it's not really like a PCT town. There's no locals there. No one's really familiar with us, and so everyone would just drive by and be like, look at these dirty hitchhikers. Like, we're not touching them. And so that was the worst of the waits. But most of them usually get within an hour. I mean, it's not too bad. And you enjoy the time to just sit. I mean...
So who'd you do this with?
I went by myself.
Okay,
and most people do, but the thing is most people do go by themselves. You'll find couples, you'll find girlfriend, boy, and every once in a while find, like, best friends. But it's hard to get two people to commit to go hike for
absolutely
2,600 miles.
Well, actually, I did a podcast with my buddy. I think it's episode, I want to say 28, 29. Here, wait, actually, right here. Okay, it's episode number 26. And he's preparing to go this upcoming March, and he's doing it with his 62-year-old aunt.
Oh.
62 years old. That's crazy.
You'd be surprised. I saw a 86-year-old or 87-year-old Aussie dude, and I saw him pretty early.
For him.
And he was going way quicker than I was. It was still pretty early on, but...
Wasn't the idea to kind of, like, go slow, but just keep doing it persistently?
Everyone does it different, because I kind of went on with... Like, I had been on 5, like, overnight backpacking trips before, and
that's very
most
cool.
of them 3 days, and I only did, like, 1 5-dayer before it.
Okay.
And so I get on, and, like, my first day, I think I hiked 16 miles, and I'm like, all right, I'm proud of that. And my next day, I hiked, like, 14 miles, and the next day, I hiked, like, 10 miles, and then I kind of sat around there for a week or so.
So that was kind of the build-up before you did the PCT.
Yeah, well, no, this is like, I started at Mexico, and then 16 miles the first day from there, and so I'm just kind of chunking it out at 10 miles, because I kind of went in not in great shape.
Okay.
And so, you kind of start losing miles first, because you get the blisters, your legs get really sore, and then your body starts healing up while you're walking too, and then it just kind of increases, and then eventually
it's
after
crazy
about...
what the body can do.
Yeah, and you're not getting time to heal either. It's not like you're stopping for a week. I mean, at most you'll stop for a day within the first, 2 or 3 weeks, because no one wants to take a 0 day that early.
Right.
And so, yeah, it's crazy how your body builds back up while you're putting so much stress on it, but it does it.
How heavy was your backpack? I know my buddy said his was about 10 pounds. Was it somewhere around there?
No, I started off with... I was packing jeans with me, and I had some canned food and stuff, which you learn it's a pretty big no-no. So I probably started around base weight, probably around 35 pounds.
Wow.
Yeah. And
I bet you lost that quick.
Day 2, I stripped off quite a bit of weight. A bunch of my hiking buddies that I met early on sat down, we got to a dumpster, we just started throwing stuff away from my pack.
Wow.
I dropped it down to like 30 after that, and then I got some new stuff, and I think I kind of end up sitting around 18 pounds of the base weight.
Oh, that's good. That's
you know what a base weight is?
Yeah,
like retail base weight. That's without food, water.
Oh, okay. No, I didn't know that then. My bad.
Yeah, because your weight's going to change quite a bit. Because when you're in the desert, you're going to carry a lot more water.
Absolutely.
Because there's no water, so you have to,
What do you carry your water in?
You know what a platypus is?
I do not know.
It's like a 2-liter bottle that's collapsible and kind of fold up, and you can roll it up.
I'll Google it real quick.
Yeah. Just type in
platypus?
Platypus water pouch.
Platypus. I'm killing this spelling.
Yeah, the bottle should do it. But I had 2 of those.
Okay, I've seen these, yeah. Very collapsible. Is this a water filter as well?
They have an attachment that you can, but I didn't use this water filter. I just used it as a carry.
Okay.
But then I also had an Nalgene on me, which isn't really recommended because they're a little heavier than you want for water bottles. But it was like
what's that?
You know those with the big mouths they screw on. They see all the sorority girls carrying around the pink ones with all the stickers on them.
Okay.
You know what I'm talking about?
Sorority
that
girls
loop on them. Yeah. So I had one of those with a bunch of stickers on it. And I think I had enough, and I had a Camelback, just the pouch, that I could go through.
Okay.
I think I had enough to carry 10 liters if I wanted to, but I don't think I ever carried 10 liters.
Deal. Yeah, that'd be a lot of extra weight.
Or I'd fill it up for camp and then just drink as much as I could, and then I wouldn't carry that much weight.
Okay.
Because every 3 liters is 7 pounds, I think, which adds up quick.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you carry 6 liters, which is pretty average on the day. That's 14 more pounds.
So how does your backpack work? Did it put all the stress on your shoulders, or did it distribute it through your lower back as well, like where
It was mostly on your hips. Yeah,
Okay.
and you clip it, pull it tight. You kind of lift
like
it up.
your lower torso kind of deal.
Yeah, it has a little strap right here that you clip in.
Oh, very cool. Okay.
And
On your belly button, kind of.
and that takes a lot of the weight off, because when you're walking, you don't want to just pulling down it. So you have a little bit of weight on your shoulder, but most of your shoulders are just holding it up instead of holding the weight on it.
Oh no, yeah.
It's a lot harder.
After an hour, like your traps will be dead.
Yeah, no. And I already don't have traps as is, so
it's hard.
carrying a pack on it too. No shot.
But yeah, you just come back from the trail and you're just like huge
Just
in the traps.
Shrugging every day.
I was at a buddy in high school who like had just abnormally large traps, and he just flexed those. He would like anytime he was shirtless, he would just flex them like stay like that. But like the rest of his body, he's super skinny, but then he just has huge traps.
That's all you need. That's all you need for the winter.
Yeah, that's all you need.
There's
That's
no
all you
traps.
need. So you said hiking buddies. How like did you meet people and then just hike with them for a few days, or?
Yeah, because most people go out by themselves.
Right.
And so it's kind of a weird atmosphere when you start off, because everyone, or I'll say 90% of the people are out there by themselves. So no one knows anyone, so kind of everyone knows everyone. You know what I mean? Everyone's on the same page, so everyone's super friendly. And then the people you click with, and then they also walk the same pace as. You just kind of start. You don't really ever like walk with them like throughout the day, where you're just standing together, talk, because there's only so much you can talk about for
Yeah, true.
16 hours a day for 3 weeks.
So much you could think about too.
Yeah,
Like I feel like I'd run out of thoughts to think almost in some ways.
I know, I listen to podcasts quite a bit.
Yeah, that's
Podcasts
what I
and
would
audiobooks help out until your phone dies.
Smart.
So you kind of do that. So you look at your map, and you'd be like, all right, so we're probably going to camp out, or we're going to do lunch here. So whoever's the lead hiker, just once you get there, stop. And see, be 6 miles ahead, you'd be like, okay, this is going to be a stopping point. And then so once you see them sitting down, you stop, sit down, eat a snack, eat lunch, or whatever, and then you'll be like, all right, we're going to camp here. And then you meet them there, set up camp, and
felt a lot safer too. Instead of a lot of hikers just out there by themselves, packs kind of deal.
There was a lot of people though. I don't think I went a day without. I for sure never went a day without seeing someone.
Okay.
Because the year I did, I think there was 3,600 permits issued.
Yeah, because they only allow so many people every single day.
Yeah, 50 permits a day.
Okay.
Which I shouldn't say this on camera, but I kind of messed around with my start date a little bit. I had to get out there a little earlier, and so it was a little bit sketchy. But
do you keep up with any of your like old hiking buddies? Or?
Yeah, it's funny actually. The first day I was there, the first full day I had on trail, I was hiking, and when you're in the desert, it's April and it gets really hot in the daytime, so you take a siesta and you just find shade in between the hot hours. You just kind of sit around, nap, and stuff like that.
Okay.
And I'm wearing a Missouri State disc golf shirt.
Hey.
And this guy walks up, he goes, "Oh, you go to Missouri State?" I'm like, "No, but I'm from Springfield." He's like, "Oh, I live in Springfield."
No
and
way.
Coincidence. He's like this 24-year-old kid, and so we've hung out quite a bit since I've been back because.
Dude, that's super cool.
He's around
That's super cool.
Yeah, but there was, I got a bunch. It was actually a huge bummer because right after I got off trail, I lost my phone, and so I lost a lot of my contacts, but Facebook and stuff like that. So I, message people.
Yeah, really
like
inconvenient time.
I know. Yeah, no time to actually keep up with anyone before, but I got a new phone on trail too because I broke one early on. You go through them quick. And 90% of my contacts were just PCT numbers for so long because there's so many people and everyone's so friendly. You just get everyone's number in case you want to meet up with someone. Yeah, you want to hike with someone or something like that. So you get everyone's numbers.
Right.
And so yeah, I ended up hiking with the guy from this area for a couple weeks, and there was a couple German dudes that I hiked with for
dope.
about a month. And then this guy up in Minnesota that I hiked with for about a month and a half. And those were kind of the groups I hiked around with. But there's kind of like your hiking buddies, but there's also bubbles that you get in, which it's the people.
What do you mean by bubbles?
It's going to be the people that you're just like passing day to day or hitting towns or getting hitches with. Because
you kind of keep running into the same people?
Yeah, because everyone kind of moves, or your bubble kind of moves the same pace. And so, you'll walk by someone who's filtering water.
I get what you're saying. Bubble,
and see just the same
sense.
faces, and, you always introduce yourself to all the PCT hikers. So, you keep up with them, too, and then sometimes you camp up with them, but
It's like a culture. It's a culture on the trail. That's pretty cool.
It's almost like a moving little village, too, because everyone keeps up. But then you'll take a couple that's the sad part. You'll take a couple 0 days, and then you get back on, and all of a sudden it's just completely new faces. Like people you've never seen before. The funny part, though, is when you'll get, 600, 700 miles down the trail, and you'll just randomly run into someone, like an old friend from mile 20, that you hadn't seen it.
Oh, okay.
There was this...
I think even an actual old friend.
Oh, yeah, back from high school.
Yeah.
He's just out there
An old
jogging.
friend from mile 20.
It happens.
That's funny.
There was a guy that I started the trail with. It was funny because I got there and he was up there drinking a beer before it started. He's like, "You want a Budweiser?" And he threw me one. And he had hiked the Continental Divide Trail before it.
Oh, good for him. Wow.
And I didn't, or not that same year, but the year before.
Okay.
And so I didn't see him at all. And
Is he going for the Triple Crown then?
Yeah. I think he's doing AT this year.
Good for him. Wow.
But I saw him. We got to mile 1 together. And he's like, "All right, man, I'm going to take off." Because he was, hauling. My fat ass was just wobbling around. And I didn't see him at all. And then all of a sudden, I'm walking into a city at like mile 550.
Okay.
And he's like, "Ryan?" And no one called me Ryan anymore because I was lopsided on trail. Everyone gets a trail name.
Yeah, I've heard that before. Trail name. Your name was Lopsided?
Yeah, I was lopsided.
What was that?
Because I had a strap on my pack that broke like day 2 for my heavy-ass pack.
Dude, it's a culture,
So it hung
man.
like this.
It's a culture. That's so cool.
Yeah. But he called me Ryan, and I responded, and he was like making eye contact. I'm like, no one knows my name's Ryan.
Right,
no one calls me Ryan. And I'm like, oh, and then he had a huge beard by then too. And so I'm like, oh, shit, yeah. So we started together. What's up?
So if you're walking in Walmart right now and somebody yells out your trail name, like, "Lopsided," would you turn around?
Oh, for sure, yeah. I'm lopsided to respond to. It's also my gamer tag now too, so.
Oh, there you go. Hey, maybe get it on your grave.
Lopsided Ryan, lopsided.
Middle name.
It's my identity now. Yeah.
So what growth came out of this for you? Like, did you grow as a person or?
I'd like to think so. Depends on who you ask. Parents think I got more liberal, so maybe I shrunk in their eyes, but no. But there's a lot of different perspective changes because you grow up in this area and you're used to the same. You're kind of the same bubble, to use the term again. Is this area conservative, middle religious America, and then you go out to California with all these hippies for 3 months, and it's just a bunch.
So that's the type of people you're meeting on the trails, typically, like kind of hippies, like.
Oh yeah. Well,
I imagine a lot of people, because that's a different breed of people that are going out there and doing this
all crazy people.
6-month venture. Yeah,
everyone's crazy.
They gotta be different.
You gotta be a little bit crazy to do it. But yeah, you're in California. It's mostly a fairly liberal crowd, so.
Okay.
And you kind of try not to get political or religious on just kind of things you just don't want to talk about.
Yeah,
but you do.
Those topics at all costs on the trail.
Yeah, you do get different viewpoints and stuff like that. It's a pretty big perspective change. Then, you weigh it in with what you believe then and what you believe now. And so a lot of my views on the world have changed, I'd say.
So open your eyes to a lot of things?
It's, kind of slanted my perspective.
Okay.
That's the best thing. Because some things I was aware of, but just see it in a different light.
Well, that's interesting to me because I was talking more from like the accomplishment side.
Oh.
So that was no. This is interesting. This is but yeah, that I wouldn't have had expected that answer.
And it's because I was fresh out of high school too, and so it's because the only 45-year-olds they're used to really talking to are your parents at that time. Right when you're out of high school, or maybe some coworkers or something, and all of a sudden you're camping with a 45-year-old guy from England. And you're talking to him on why Brexit's a bad thing for this, and so you get a lot of different perspectives around the world in that regard too.
Well, that's kind of cool, and then you're getting like a perspective from somebody out of this country, because I know how much like somebody from very different background can impact your own perspective on the world too.
Yeah, and you see, it's because there's a bunch of British hikers too, and there was a couple old guys that came out there together, just old childhood friends.
Okay.
And then there was a bunch of, and I was at a hostel in Bishop, which is around mile 500.
Okay.
And they're all sitting around the table, and they're all arguing about Brexit, and have no idea what it is. And I'm just.
But these are PCT hikers in the hostel. Okay.
Yeah, they're all PCT hikers, and they're all arguing about this stuff. It's so weird. Like, all right, this is our kind of Trump versus Hillary Clinton that they're doing right now. They're arguing politics, and I guess everyone's doing it. It's not only us.
Right.
I mean, everyone's got their debates.
Yeah, it's a big deal over there. I
Yeah.
had my buddy from Northern Ireland on, I think it was podcast episode number 23. Promoting. I'm promoting, yeah. Go check it out. Check it out, man.
Number 23. Make sure to
Download
watch it,
my
guys.
mixtape. Yeah. But yeah, he was talking. He was going into depth about Brexit. It's kind of an interesting topic. I don't know enough to like talk about it knowledgeably. Do what?
I couldn't weigh in on it. I mean,
it's one of those conversations you're just like, all right, I'm observing.
yeah, just see how they interact. There's not
Absolutely.
much I can weigh in on.
So whenever you said you quit at 1400, what was the reasoning for being done? Or maybe not quit because that's a negative connotation.
No. I had to get back for school, and so I just took off, and I planned it so I had 2 weeks to come back, get some stuff in order, and then move down to Arkansas.
So it was the best move for you to get back in time.
In retrospect, I kind of wish I could have said, screw school, do it next semester, and just finished it.
Well, it was probably the best move for you.
Yeah.
I respect it.
I mean, I regret it, but it would have been nice to I'm going to finish. I mean, I got to now once you get halfway.
Right.
The debate is if I start over or if I start from where I got off.
Ooh.
Because technically, to make it a thru hike, because I'm not a thru hiker. To be a thru hiker, you got to hike through a trail. You got to do a whole trail. And so I'm just a big sectional hiker. You can go walk the nature center, and that's
Which I still respect. Like, you're a common man, like anybody who's not done or into this stuff at all, like, I respect the shit out of it. But anybody listening right now, if they're like done the PCT, especially if they don't like the Triple Crown, it's different.
This guy's a pussy, yeah. He's a sectional hiker. No.
Hey, fuck you, sectional hiker.
Did you ever see the movie Wild?
No.
The one on the PCT?
No.
It's it came out, I don't know, 5 or 6 years ago. It's Reese Witherspoon, but it's so funny because all the hikers just shit talk this movie because it's about some lady that hiked in the late 90s, but she only hiked 1,200 miles of it, and they're like, oh yeah, she didn't do it. We're hiking this whole thing right now. It's such a bad ending, they're criticizing everything about the movie. Because any movie you watch is such a niche movie, like Wild is. It's the people that are actually doing it are going to criticize.
Right.
If you watch a boxing movie and you're a boxer, you're going to hate the movie.
That's so unrealistic.
Yeah.
You know how it is.
It's the same thing with that. So we were joking around. We cut out a bunch of Reese Witherspoon's faces and put them on our backpacks and to piss people off.
Oh, that's hilarious. I actually have heard about this movie from a podcast. Yeah, okay.
It's funny because no one wants to say like that influenced them to hike, but the numbers skyrocketed after this movie came out. And so like when you ask, so why'd you decide to come out and trail? Everyone's like, first thing's like, well, yeah, I want to come out before the movie Wild came out.
I just want to lay that down.
It was like 10 years ago when I thought about doing the PCT. Like, Wild had nothing to do with it. But numbers went from like 1,500 to like 3,500, or it's like 3,000 within 2 years.
It put the idea of doing that as that being a possibility of what you could do, spend your time doing. Yeah. Man, I don't know if I'd try it. I don't know. A part of me wants to, but like... I'd be down for a smaller show. Like I would be down more like a 1,400, like a 2-3 month thing. But I don't know if I'm really wanting to commit like 6 months to like an excursion, a getaway like this so much.
If you were to start it and if you were to get 3 months in and you still had time, you'd finish.
Absolutely.
There's no way you can't get halfway done with it and you have time.
Well, I'm saying like I would rather do like find like an 800-mile hike or something that's still pretty hardcore, pretty extreme, but like
there's a lot of mountains.
Just the opportunity cost of like skipping out on so much, like, I don't know.
Yeah, there's a lot to think about, though. If you want to, there's like the Colorado Trail is like a 550 or stuff like that. There's a lot of them like that. But I don't know. The PCT, it's the one that's been haunting me now. I got to finish it.
I respect it, dude. I respect it.
I recommend anyone to get out and do something like that because it's a whole different perspective. And there's a weird sense of accomplishment behind, or not weird, but there's a sense of accomplishment by it too. Like every time you get to a new town, because like you start off and you're talking for like a month, you're talking about Kennedy Meadows. Gotta get to Kennedy Meadows. I'm done with the desert. I want to get to Kennedy Meadows. Get to the Sierras. Get to the mountains.
Okay.
And then finally you're at Kennedy Meadows and you're like, all right, we made it. It's all mountains now. We're done with the desert. We made it to the mountains. And so there's that.
Something to look forward to.
And then like the halfway point. That's all I got to. I'm sure getting to the other terminals, the big one, but...
Well, what was the feeling like whenever, I bet that was just an absolute bliss.
At the, The getting off or the getting to the halfway point?
Yeah.
It felt good because the halfway point was the goal. And it was, you think, like, when you get on, because I was kind of like, low-key telling my friends, like, yeah, I'm going to go, and I'll probably be out there like a month, and I'll get sick of it.
Right.
And I kind of didn't actually plan on making it to the halfway point. And then so I get out there and start going, and next thing you know, it's 3 months later, and you're there, and it feels good. I mean, I don't know how to describe it. That's one of the bigger things I've done. So
what confidence comes with that? Like, just to be able to be like, yeah, like I accomplished that. Like I accomplished what 99% of the population cannot say they have done.
I mean, exactly. I mean, you're saying it, and that's all really. I mean, it's just a pride. I mean, I'm sure anyone that's ever accomplished, anything big. I'm sure you've done something big in your life.
Right. Yeah. That's what I could compare it to, is like something, like a big accomplishment that I kind of hold close to myself that I can always tap into and be like, you know what? I am a bad motherfucker. Like whatever it is, like I did learn that. Whatever that might be, that brings that confidence. Because I feel like you can always kind of be like, I don't want to say, I lost my train of thought. Oh, okay, so if you're going through like a hard time or a struggle, you could be like, well, it's not nearly as bad as the PCT was that one day that I forced myself to hike or whatever it may be. Yeah.
And I do draw on it for some of that. So some of the stuff where, stuff gets tough, I need to push. And also when, I'm sad or something, I need to look back on that. I'll pull up pictures and be like, that was a pretty picture I took. But
yeah, because it's almost like I'm not going to let this moment define me now. That might suck, but like later down the road or back in the past, like what I did was pretty cool, and it kind of makes you remember who you are in a way.
Yeah, what you did at the very least. The accomplishments that success you had in the past. It's something to draw on for the future.
Right.
And so, I don't know. I'm hoping I could accomplish something like that again. So I don't want it to be like, that was the high point. I accomplished this. So, but it's something. It is something to look back on too, though. It's something to remember. But that's all you can do is remember it.
Something whenever you're looking back on your life and kind of, reflecting on it a little bit. Like it's always something you're gonna remember for sure.
It's fun to remember, but there's a feeling while you're doing it, and so you got to remember that. You got to remember that feeling too. Cause
what's the feeling like?
It's a weird thing where because it's very stress free because
so much mental clarity. There's no worries.
You wake up in the morning and you have 5 days of food on you and you have 4 days of hiking left. So let's say you get sick, you have a day that you cannot hike, so you have to get up and you have to walk. I mean, it's not like, oh, should I walk today? I'm in the middle of the woods, should I walk? It's you have to walk. Like, right. If you don't, then what are you going to do? Call a helicopter out? Like, you got to get to the next town to get food. And so you're going to walk. And then, so all there is to do is the bare essentials. You're going to walk, you're going to get to where you want lunch, and you're hungry, so you're going to make food, and then you're going to walk again. And then 3 days from now, I'm going to get to a town, and I'm going to sleep, and I'm going to drink a lot of beer. And then I'm gonna buy food and go again. Right. And so there's not too many big decisions to make, and so there's no stress.
I like that. I like the simplicity of that.
It's very, and it gives you a lot of time. It gives you a ton of time to think. Because it's not too hard to think about walking. I mean, if you have to think about taking a step, maybe you shouldn't be out there. And so
it's so simple. Yeah, you're totally right. Just the simplicity of the lifestyle.
There's a lot to reflect on, and a lot of audiobooks to listen to.
Absolutely.
I knocked out all the Game of Thrones. While I was out there. Listen to
Are you into Game of Thrones?
I haven't gotten to the TV show yet. I need to. I need to get HBO Go. If you're listening, you got to log in. Hit your boy up.
Yeah. But you said absolutely.
But yeah, I like the books.
I've heard the TV show is amazing.
I need to get into it.
So how much did this cost you?
All together, and this is for half it, probably around $1,600.
Oh wow!
Yeah, which is, think about it, isn't terrible though.
My bad, I was thinking 16,000.
No, that'd be a lot.
Yeah, I was too quick to react. But yeah, absolutely, that's crazy. That's pretty affordable, honestly.
Yeah, when you think about how much you spend in 3 months of living, it's not. But also, you're not making any money while you do it. But $1,600, anyone could really save up that if they try.
Mm-hmm.
But that's so. if you go out there if you have all the gear and you go out there with $3,500, and I didn't live cheap, but also I wasn't getting hotel rooms every town I hit.
Right.
And when I did get hotel rooms, we were going 6 hikers to a hotel room, 2 people on the floor.
As efficiently as possible. That's cool.
And we were trying to keep it cheap because most people out there quite a bit on budget. The foreigners are the ones with the money because they had the money to get over there.
True.
They're always the ones getting their own hotel room and stuff. But all of us were a little bit scumbags just trying to scrape up the money and going 6 people.
So would you seek out like foreigners to stay with maybe? So like maybe
no, we were just whoever we were with. You would hit a hotel lobby and we'd have going with another guy. But hey, are you guys looking to split a hotel room? Be, oh yeah, sure. And so we'd go. We'd be, hey, can we get 4 keys instead of 2? And then we'd put stuff in. But you could kind of. I don't know that you can, but we did. You kind of just trust all the hikers. They're doing the same thing you are. No one's really looking to screw you over.
True. I feel like I want to bring like a knife or some form of protection just in case.
I started with one. It just got too heavy.
yeah, I believe it.
That's one thing that everyone asked is, are you bringing a gun? Are you bringing a gun? I'm like, that's 2 pounds. That's 3 pounds. I'm not bringing a gun. That's way too heavy.
You have everything in weight.
Yeah, because you want to
thought process.
The lighter the base weight, the more miles you could get.
True. So, what's your wildest memory?
There's a lot, but all right. Okay, so we were hiking I'm thinking which ones to say, but there's the kind of the hottest and also flattest part is the Mojave Desert, and it's
oh wow,
it's a 17. It's the aqueduct, so it's in the Mojave Desert, but you're kind of walking when you come up to the aqueduct, which it's the Los Angeles Aqueduct, and it's where the water comes from a lake and goes into a pipe and goes to LA because they've dried up every city around them.
Right.
And so they're pulling it all the way from the mountains at this point. But
that's crazy.
So you're walking down the mountains, which it's mountains, but it's not like cold mountains. It's like deserty mountains.
Right.
And then you look and there's just a really flat valley, and then there's other mountains on the other side. And you kind of skirt the valleys quite a bit, but you never actually go into them. But this time we're going down, and you drop into it, and you have a little app that kind of gives you the guide, and it says that there's like 200 feet of elevation change over 17 miles, which is nothing. Usually there's 7,000 feet of elevation change. And so it's just perfectly flat. And we hit it in a heat wave too, and in the daytimes it was hitting like 125 on the aqueduct. And so you can't hike it daytime, right? So you have to night hike it. And so we get to this one little Trail Angel spot, which I'll explain that later. But we do this one spot, and we just chill out there in the day, drink some beer, nap quite a bit. And then it gets to like 6 p.m., like right when the sun starts going down, and the temperature starts to drop. And there's no water on it until mile 24. And so you kind of have to do 24 miles to get to the next creek to fill up with water. I think this is around mile 450 or so, if you're wondering. And so we go and we start walking.
So do you know this going into it before you hike those 24? You're like, all right, you prepare
This is like Kennedy Meadows. Like from day one, everyone's talking about, oh, the aqueduct sucks. The aqueduct's rough.
So it's a rough start.
Well, no, everyone's just talking about it the whole time.
Okay.
And so you get into it, but most people hike it in the day. It just wouldn't be possible to hike it in the day once we got there, so we had to night hike it. And so it gets to like, in the whole aqueduct, you start off and you're walking on a trail that's right next to the pipeline.
Okay.
And so there's a concrete road that's like a 1-lane road and then just like a gravel road right next to it. And it's just perfectly flat. And it's nighttime, but there's enough stars that we don't have to use headlamps because no trees or anything. It's just flat desert. There's a few Joshua tree on the either side, but nothing big. And so we're walking, and we get to mile 12, and we're like, all right, let's take lunch. And so we all, sit down, open up our backpacks, take out our stoves, fill it up with water, boil water.
So you have these little, what do they look like? What are they called? I'm kind of curious what they look like.
The big ones, I think it's called the MSR Pocket Rocket. Try that.
MSR Pocket Rocket.
Did I get it? Yeah, it's just the top part. The MSR, the propane, you carry one of those. You can even get smaller with them. And that's the big part, but my stove is more or less that same thing. Like that packs down to about this big. Okay, so it gets small, it's really light. And then you just kind of set it on that and cook on that. So we're all sitting around, and I'm cooking up my ramen. and we're, talking, laughing, and all of a sudden we see a headlight coming down the road, and we're just sitting in the middle of the road with all of our backpacks and everything out, and we're like, oh shit, okay, we gotta get off.
Not expecting a car to come.
No, it's like 1 in the morning,
right.
and we're like 11 miles into this, and we're exhausted, and we're just trying to eat lunch and go. And so we're pulling everything and throwing it off the road.
Lunch at 11 p.m. at night.
Well, you call, because we still have dinner coming in the morning. But I guess, it's our second meal, so we'll call it lunch. And so we throw everything off, and the headlights come, and we're getting scared. We're about to die because we're about to get by a truck.
Right.
And then finally we get everything off. We stop, we look, and it's just still approaching. It still approaches, but really slowly. And then finally, it passes us, and it's a little tiny electric bike with this tiny little Mexican dude on it with 3 rattlesnakes over the handlebars.
What?
With a headlamp on, and he has a little bike horn, and he just goes, and waves to us, and just keeps going. And we were terrified that all of our shit was about to get run over by this, like, pickup truck or something. And it was just this little dude on a bike. And so...
In a helmet hat.
Yeah, there's I guess people go out there and go for rattlesnake skins or something at night, but it's not legal, and so there's a bunch of people that go poach rattlesntes or something.
Okay.
And so, but we didn't know, so we just assumed it was.
What a character! Like
I mean, maybe there's a business there. I mean, go out there and poach some rattlesnakes. There's probably money, but we weren't ready for it.
Him riding his bike by and just giving the little toot toot.
And he was friendly too. He just smiled and waved, kept on going. We heard an engine too, so we assumed it was something. Just a little bike.
So, do you look at showers differently now?
Not so much anymore. I've been back long enough, and I've showered.
Adapted back to it.
Yeah, I'm back to it, but when you get to the first shower, after a week, and it will ruin showers. We'll clog drains with dirt. And that may have been a little bit of a stretch, but...
Tons of dirt.
I mean, it's black, and you'll take a shower, and you'll get out, and you'll wipe yourself with a towel, and there's dirt on the towel, and you're like, oh, shit. You get back in, and do it again, and then more dirt goes wave 2.
No, what?
And it'll take long ones. Yeah, it's... And there's not too many big bodies of water you hit that aren't in... And when you do, you're in the high Sierras, and, the water's like 40 degrees, and so you jump in and try to scrub. So showering on trail just never really... I mean, you try to do it, and every once in a while we'd boil water and do it if it got bad enough, and just pour warm water on ourselves. But we didn't pack shampoo or anything like that either, because it's too heavy, and the time was... You just learn to be dirty and gross. Right. You kind of have to get used to it, or else it's not going to work.
Absolutely.
But when you get to the shower, that's the first thing you do, and that's the big reason behind getting a hotel room. Because you could get a campsite, and you could be themed quarters into one of the little campsite showers, but...
Right.
Just being able to stand in a shower for an hour and a half.
Warm water coming down on you, or cold, whatever you're feeling.
It might be the best feeling. It might be.
That would be pure bliss, just after all that struggle.
Because, sometimes you'll get... I think the longest I was 8 or 9 days of just hiking and sleeping in the dirt. And so you get...
You have a tent though, right?
I didn't use it. I did use it, but not really.
So you just leave out just normal? Good, because that takes so much time every night setting it up. And then...
Yeah, I started off because I was terrified of rattlesnakes. Because you see so many of them, and you're like,
really?
I'm gonna wake up with a little rattlesnake. Yeah, I almost stepped on one. But I started off setting it up, and it's not that hard of a tent to set up. You get really quick at it.
I'm assuming you're wearing boots, or are you wearing tennis shoes? Or...
I'm wearing. I started off with boots.
Okay, that's a little bit more protective from rattlesnakes.
But they're just heavy too, and so I end up ditching to trail runners, which are just super light shoes.
Okay.
And they're better for if you're doing the Appalachian Trail, you could kind of fight for boots a little bit more, but with the PCT, there's not enough rain to have to wear boots. Okay. I got precipitation 3 times the whole trail. And I got snowed on once, rained on once, and hailed on once. Wow. And that's for 3.5 months. Yeah, nothing twice, so we'll call it a win. But, tents, by the time you get to a month, after like the first month or something, you start off, you hike till 6, and you have like 2 hours at night to, chill around camp. But by the time you get to like month 1.5 or something, you just hike till it gets too dark to hike anymore. Pull your sleeping pad out, throw it on the ground, throw your sleeping bag on it, jump in, sleep, wake up, roll it up, and go.
Right.
It's just easier.
That gets really repetitive, like setting up a tent every single night.
And it takes a lot of time.
Absolutely.
And if it's 10 minutes every night, it adds up. And also, you just want to lay down. By the time you get there, you're just ready to lay down. And so it was
Not
kind of
set up a tent, then lay down. No.
We kind of all just lay in a circle, like throw down our pads in a circle, and then just in the middle, just start while we're in our sleeping bags, cooking food. And then if someone fell asleep while they're cooking their food, you'd wake them up, and then they'd finish off. And
so primal. I love it. It's so simple and primal.
It's the simplicity is the fun part to me, though. It's because that's what I touched on earlier. It's just, there's nothing to think about. You just have to do it. And so, minus tents, you don't have to do that. Screw that. I mean, I was honestly thinking about I was thinking about sending my tent home.
Right.
And it's like, what if it does rain? Like, what do I do? Just get wet? But
yeah, true. How much did your tent weigh?
3.6 pounds, I think.
Okay, that's not too heavy.
No, and then I ditched the poles on it too, because you have.
So whenever you ditch, like, you're just throwing this stuff out?
No, I mail it home.
Oh, but, cool. Okay.
Yeah, because if I want to actually use the tent for like car camping or something, I want them.
Yeah, absolutely. That's smart.
But it has how my tent kind of went is it had one pole that would kind of angle up like this and then ramp over like that, and then it had two poles that just go straight up. And so I took those two poles and sent those ones home and just used my trekking poles for those, and then saved a little bit of weight. Probably not a ton, but
well, all the little stuff that you're doing,
it adds up.
Yeah.
You cut your toothbrush in half. You save
No
a little
way.
there. Yeah, just every little small thing, you probably get a couple pounds off in the end.
Well, you went from 36 to 19, you said? Pounds?
Yeah, but a lot of that was in one big weight cut.
Okay.
I also got a new pack in the middle, and so that one was lighter.
Where'd you get a new pack from?
One of the German dudes I was hiking with. He got an Osprey mailed in, like this really nice Osprey, and so he just gave me his old pack, which was...
No shit, wow.
Yeah, it was probably a $200 pack, and so, yeah.
Good for you. What a good guy.
Yeah, it was all German writing and stuff on it, and I'm like, all right, I'll rep it, so...
Absolutely. That's pretty cool.
But yeah, it was nice of him, but the packs are pretty, they get really light. There's I think it's Google ULA backpack. I'm trying to remember what it's actually called. JanSport. No, not JanSport. Circuit. Yeah, the Circuit. These green ones right here. These are the big ones. These are probably the lightest as they get, and that whole pack weighs nothing. If you lift it up empty, it's paper.
Really?
And they're waterproof. It's basically just one big pocket that rolls over on itself and waterproofs itself off.
So how much preparation, how much time did you get to prepare for this? Like, that you realize, I'm going to do the Pacific Crest Trail. I
started in April, and so I kind of decided I was going to do it in October or November. So 5 months.
6 months, okay.
Yeah, 5-6 months. Originally, I was planning on going out to Mongolia and doing a little volunteer program over there for 2 months. And then a bunch of stuff fell through with that, and so I'm like, you know what, why don't I just do something in the country? And my grandparents live up in around Quincy, which is
Illinois?
Quincy, California.
Oh, okay.
Which is around it's one of the trail towns that you go through. And so that's around mile 1400. Cool. And so that's how I learned about it. When we were kids, we went out and we walked on it a little bit.
Actually, you heard about it from Wild, dude. We all know.
I was trying to make myself look better. Fine. Reese Witherspoon got me to hike that trail. Plain and simple, it was Reese Witherspoon.
She's a gorgeous lady.
I was hoping to see her. Never did.
Yeah.
The funny part, there's this one scene in the movie
It's
where...
not in your bubble.
She wasn't in my bubble.
Yeah, I got the
She was one to speak. You're basically a thru-hiker. You need to get trail name. That's all you need. But
what would my trail name be?
I don't know. You gotta have this. They have to be inspired by something on trail.
Okay, so just one person gets it to you, and you just rep that name for the rest of the time.
This part is a little controversial.
Okay.
Because you're not supposed to give yourself one. But people do, and then I don't really care. But some people get butthurt about, some people are super into the trail.
Right,
and I'm
right.
like, whatever you want me to call you, I'll call you.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
it's like coming up with your own nickname. Like,
I mean,
that's so respected.
It's kind of a dick move. But I'll call it to you. Or I'll say it to you. But, and then some people think the first one that anyone ever says to you, that's the one you just got to roll with.
Uh-huh.
And then other people think, once someone gives you one, you can pick and choose which one you want.
Right,
Which lopsided was the first one that I got, and I got it like day 2, and so I just rolled with it, and I stuck with it. But people try to give me a bunch of different shit, and I'm just like, people already know me lopsided. I want to be switching stuff up.
What are some other names that came up for you?
I got Cholula, because I always had a little thing of Cholula hot sauce with me.
Oh, really?
You don't get any seasoning, and that's honestly something you probably shouldn't have, because it's like a glass bottle, and
it's way
heavy, but I'm like, I'll take it. It's
what for? Like your ramen or eggs or what?
Everything. By the end, I was putting on mashed potatoes. Like, just
that
a little bit of
good.
seasoning on anything, it helps, because stuff gets bland. Ramen's the only thing that I was able to ride out with. The Idahoan mashed, the instant ones you just add water to?
Yeah.
Those started off so good.
Oh, I bet.
And they turned bad quick.
But, like, they just got old really quick.
Yeah. Okay. I get nauseous when I eat it. Like, that was one of the worst. Because it was just,
your body's starting to reject it, basically.
It did, yeah. And I think it was just a ton of, I ate a lot of carbs, which some people are fine with, but it was just a lot of carbs. Mashed potatoes are just a ton of it.
You probably need a lot of carbohydrates on that.
That's a discussion. I just ate whatever. Like, I'd eat Snickers and stuff like that. But there's some health nuts out there like, no, you don't want carbs. You want to stick to grass and stuff like that.
They would eat.
But there's a lot of vegans out there, and I don't know how they do that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like I said, I don't eat too much meat,
energy.
But
where are they getting their? I guess they're
it's carbs. I guess you can eat ramen. I don't know what you can eat as a vegan, but it seems like you don't want to limit yourself at the same time.
Yeah, true.
But trailman, I also got horsecock soft shoulder, which I was proud of that one. Horsecock soft shoulder.
Horsecock soft shoulder.
Yeah, that one was for the ladies. And then I don't know. There's a few of them, but
what does a soft shoulder play in there?
Something to lay on.
Hey.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But
did you meet many girls out there?
Yeah, I was a young one. There was not very many people my age that were out there too.
That's understandable.
But it's probably 1 to 3, 1 girl for every 3 guys ish.
Okay.
Bad ratio for a party, but better.
Not bad for the
PCT's been worse. It started off as only dudes, but Reese Witherspoon inspired a bunch of chicks to do it too. So
maybe for the best, right?
Pretty soon we're gonna be 50-50.
Hey, I would imagine that's more of a male-dominated event.
Yeah, it definitely was. I wish it was the other way, but
it is what it is.
It is. But most people that hike are, there's kind of 3 categories. There's the people that just graduate college and they're looking for something before they jump into their career.
Okay.
And then there's the people that just got done with the job that they hated or career that they hated and are getting ready to move on to the next one. And then there's people that just retired. And then there's a small amount of people that just got out of high school. I probably met...
you said a lot of hippies as well.
Yeah, but all those people kind of fell into those categories.
Okay,
there's hippies there. Not like hippies like,
Right.
Not... And there's also a small little homeless people niche, which people learn they just hike with us and we give them food and stuff. And, I would if I had extras.
Yeah.
But there's only a few of them. But I met, I think, 3 other people that were under 24.
Wow.
Most everyone's just out of college.
Okay.
I
can see that, like your bucket list type of thing. Like, before I start my career, I want to do this after college. Yeah.
Or I just got done with my career and now I'm ready to do this.
Right.
Or I'm retired.
Who's the oldest person you met? You said
was that 83-year-old dude?
Okay.
Yeah, I met him though at around mile 70. And I didn't really meet him. I just kind of talked to him like, man, dude, you're old. How old are you?
You're old as shit, man. Yeah, I know.
I think he was 87 or 83. He was in his 80s. We'll just leave it there.
Right. Impressive.
Yeah, but he was also in, good shape for an 80-year-old dude. He always hiked shirtless, too, which we were in the desert. But he never had a shirt on. I never saw him with a shirt on.
Did he get burned?
He was an Aussie. He tanned out skin. He wasn't getting burned.
It's all in your head, man. Age is just a number. That's cool.
Apparently. When I'm 83, I plan on drinking margaritas in Hawaii or something, not hiking. Right. But, I'll let him do him.
Yeah, true. I admire that whenever, older people kind of, stick to it, stay active and whatnot. And that's cool.
Yeah, and stay healthy. Once you lose it, once you get older, it's hard to get back.
Absolutely.
Really suck for I'm not there yet, but...
Well, you can imagine. Mm-hmm.
But... Alright, Trail Angels. That's what I was tell you about earlier.
Okay.
Have you heard about them at all?
No, not at all.
Okay, so there's people called trail angels, and what they are is just people that will help out hikers. And so that ranges from people who pick you up on hitches to people that like will let you stay at their house with them and stuff like that.
Oh, wow.
So, there's also people that will leave coolers of like Gatorades and beers and stuff just on the trail. Be like, take one, put your cans in the trash bag, and then keep going.
That's
and then
super
just
cool.
keep restocking the coolers.
Really? They would do beers?
Yeah, oh yeah. You'd be surprised how much people fund the hikers with beer. Like that's kind of like the go-to. You'll go back and there'll be a bunch of Budweiser sitting on trail. Yeah. Well, cigarettes are big courtesy on trail, surprisingly. Like
Really?
a lot of people just carry cigarettes just to find a smoker who needs cigarettes and be like, yeah, I'll give you one for Snickers. And
Oh, no
just
way.
give them out. They don't even smoke. They just have them.
That's smart. That's smart. Yeah. It's a form of currency. It's a form of currency.
It'd probably work. But there's 4 big spots that I hit that are like the big trail angel spots that kind of most every hiker goes to.
Right.
And there's Mike's place, and then there's Ziggy and the Bear, and then Hiker Heaven and Casa de Luna.
Okay.
And those are like, when you get there, you stop there. And like when I was at Hiker Heaven, there was like 100 hikers there at the same time. And they let you stay in there. They're all different too. Mike's place was around mile 127. Google, let's see if anything comes up for Mike. Type in Mike's place PCT. But this was in the middle of the desert, and it was just kind of like a trailer, or a bunch of trailers. And yeah, this
is that it?
That's not. Oh, that's how it used to be. But they had
So
to
is
get
this
rid of
just
a bunch of trailers.
just a hangout kind of spot?
Yeah,
Like
and they had a grill going, and they made us all burgers, and it's just all, like, they just have a donation jar, and they're like, if you have money, give us money. If not, don't worry about it. And they had a cooler. They had probably 700 beers when we got there that they're just giving out, and they had grills running nonstop, just giving out burgers to hikers.
Could you imagine all the cool people they're meeting on this trip?
Oh, so, and a lot of them are ex-PCT hikers. That's what, all of them have at least section hiked it for a substantial amount.
Okay.
But they're just super chill people. They made us oven or fire pizzas or whatever it's called, fire roasted pizzas or whatever. Just like right over campfire, they had like these
And good
bricks
food would be
laid up.
appreciated, I bet.
Oh,
like
pizza, so much better than those Idahoans. But there was that one, and then Ziggy and the Bear was this. They didn't give us beer. They were a super. They're kind of like a religious couple that was older. Okay. But they bring you in, and they still let us camp in their backyard, give us water, give us Gatorade, stuff like that.
Oh, no, so you can camp in their backyard.
Yeah, they were a weird one, because they were just pretty much imagine just like a house on the edge of like a small neighborhood or something where there's like a field behind their house. Right. With like just houses everywhere around it. And then just... so
this is a neighborhood?
More or less. I mean, they had neighbor. It wasn't like a, just like a neighbor, but like everyone had maybe an acre, and there was houses all around, and then we were all just sleeping in just 50 hikers in their backyard. No. So I'm sure their neighbors hated them. They're like this 80-year-old couple. And they just let us camp there. And then Hiker Heaven.
That's so funny, dude.
Was kind of one of the big ones. And when I got there was 100 people, and they had in 1 acre yard. And they basically had a trailer where hikers could chill out at, like a little mobile home trailer, just like some couches and a shower in there. And they had one of those where hikers could hold out. And then they had just about an acre with tents just pressed up against each other, filling up their whole yard, and like 6 porta potties that were like constantly filling up. Right. And then my favorite was Casa de Luna, which was kind of the more of the...
I might have to text my buddy these places, the one who's going in March.
You'll hear about them coming. You hear about them a while out. Like, they're coming. But Casa de Luna is her name's Terry, and I forgot the guy's name. Terry and Rick, maybe? I don't know. And they have... do you know what manzanita trees are?
No, I'm not familiar with them.
Maybe I said that way wrong. I may have done it. But they're like...
Manzanita?
Manzanita trees.
Manzanita?
Probably said it wrong. Let's just pretend I can say it.
Okay.
But they're like these red trees, and they have a big forest of them in their backyard on about 3 or 4 acres.
Oh,
that's
pretty cool.
Like your own individual campsite with no one around you. And then they have a bunch of instruments and stuff. And you just kind of chill out. And they have a gas station right next to their place so you can basically buy whatever you want. Which, gas station's a superstore for a hiker.
Right.
And so I got there at Memorial Day, so everyone was kind of filling up and chilling out there.
That was a busy weekend.
It was a very busy one. And they make taco salad every night for all the hikers that go through. And all these places are just donation based. So, I mean, they really are angels. And we just played cards, sat there, drank beer. And I took, I think, 3 zeros there. Just chilling back over there.
What do you mean by zeros?
0 days with 0 miles.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I would do. I would take my time to relax.
And also, I got there a little bit before Memorial Day, so I'm like, all right, I'm making it to Memorial Day because I don't want to be on trail during Memorial Day.
So how often would you take 0 days?
I mean, I took in the 3.5 months, I ended up with 17, which is very heavy. But also, I knew I was on pace to get to where I was going, and so I just kind of wrote. Most people average around 30 for a whole trail. Okay. That's a completely bullshit statistic I'd throw out there, but my guess, that's probably around where it'd be. And
17 is a good number. That's good. I think it'd be important to take your time on that and like enjoy your off days as well.
And most of them were because I took 3 there and I took 5 at Yosemite.
Okay.
And so.
Oh, dope! That's super cool. So you get to like stop in Yosemite basically.
Yeah, you don't go to.
Out there.
Have you ever been to Yosemite?
I've never been there.
So there's the Valley, which is basically outdoor Disney World. It's just concrete paths, and there's like 20,000 people at the park at any given day. It's packed. Shuttles driving around, dropping people off at attraction to attraction. They'll drop you off at Half Dome. They'll drop you off at Yosemite Falls, and then, but that's the Valley. That's the main part. And then, but the PCT goes through Twomley Meadows, which is about an hour and a half. But it's all in Yosemite Park. But Twomley Meadows is just a part of it. It's about an hour and a half away.
Right.
And so we got there, and then me and my buddy from Minnesota, we hitchhiked into the valley. And then we were like, they have a little backpackers campground where you don't have to pay for camping. You just stay there. And so we slept there. And then we were going to leave the next day. And then we met some of the workers that were there, and they're like, yeah, we have this really cool like kind of secret spot they camp out at, and they're like, all right, we'll give you some directions. And we met them in the evening, like right before we left, and they're like, what you want to do is you're going to want to follow the trail up. Once you cross the bridge, you want to take a left and just follow the river up, and then once the river forks, take a right, or just random stuff like that, and then go up to the top of this rock, then cross the river, then keep going, and you'll see a cave. Or no, once you get to the waterfall, go up over the waterfall, keep going, you'll see a cave. And you could camp out there, and there's like a bunch of stuff up there for you to be. I'm like, all right.
No.
We'll do that.
Way.
And so it's like 8 o'clock, and we go and we get all loaded up on beer and stuff.
I'm assuming it's all dark by this point.
Yeah, it's dark. And we walk up, and we get to the bridge that we're supposed to go on, and they said, like, take a right or take a left on some side of the bridge. And if we did that, we'd just be literally following the trail back. And so we sat on the bridge and argued for like 2 hours about whether we should hike all the way back in, because it was like a 4-mile hike out to get to the bridge.
Okay.
It's like, so should we hike back in, or should we just try to go up the river? So we didn't know what to do. Finally, we ended up hiking all the way back, but we went the other way. And then we figured out the trail was a loop, and so they meant for us to be coming from the other direction on the loop, and so it would have made sense with their directions. So the next night, we're like, we'll take 1 more zero and we'll do it tomorrow. And so the next day, in the daytime, we go out, and we follow the directions to, like, pretty much, like, and we get to this massive waterfall, and this is because if you ever go to Yosemite, there's a bunch of trails, be like, go to Mirror Lake Trail, go to this trail.
Right.
And there's this massive waterfall, probably like a 40-foot, 50-foot waterfall that's just like way off the beaten path. And so we crawl up under it.
It's worth it though.
Yeah,
Waterfall's beautiful.
And I don't know how we would never have known it was out there, because even they have like Yosemite Falls is their big attraction because it's one of the like biggest waterfalls in the U.S. or something, maybe the biggest. I don't know. I'll be giving BS statistics, but. We get on top of the waterfall, and we hike back, and we see the cave, and we go in, and they have, like, mattresses with sheets and then a bunch of blankets, like, probably, like, 8 or 9 mattresses, just filling up the cave, and then they have, like, a stove area, and they have a whole pantry with, like, Tupperware or like plates, cooking stuff, and then they have guitars and bongos and drums. And
they showed you this place. They'd like you to go there.
Yeah, this is like because PCT hiker, like, because we're really kind of the same people at heart. You know, we're all scumbags. You know, the Yosemite workers, and because they're like just teenagers that are working there for the summer, living in tents too, more or less.
Right.
And so we went up there, and we ended up taking like 2 days there just because it's so cool. And we stayed up there, and we would hike back in, grab food. I remember we bought a bunch of bacon and eggs and sausage, and then grilled it out on their little grill there. Because they basically had they piled a bunch of rocks up so it's perfectly square, and then had this big, like, stovetop, just, like, big, like,
This place sounds sick. Do you have any pictures by chance?
No. All these, I don't think I can get in my Google.
Right,
all these are on my old phone.
Oh, you lost all your pictures.
I have most like my big, you know, like my big scenery pics on Twitter or Instagram or something. So I've saved quite a bit.
Okay, good for you.
But there's some of them I lost that are pretty sad.
Well, I can imagine it. You gave a very, excuse me. You gave a very good description, so I can imagine it for sure.
Yeah, it was really cool though. So we camped out there every night, and we went up there with a few of the Yosemite workers and hung out there and just did some stuff around that. And so that was my other big zero day.
Okay. What'd you do in like, did you go to the waterfall and swim or do anything?
Oh yeah, we kind of woke up there, hung out, and then we, you know, just jumped in the water, hiked up and down a little bit. And then most days, or I think every day, we ended up like doing our whole morning thing, and then just leaving our backpack or slack pack. Slack packing is when you dump most of your weight, and then just whatever you need, just put in your backpack and carry.
Right.
And it was like a 4-mile walk back, which sounds like a bitch right now, but we're used to walking 25 a day. Oh, thank you. We're used to walking 25 a day.
You might pour in a little bit of.
Oh,
here.
yeah, for sure.
Oh no, you know, you want.
I'll be fine.
Cool. Sorry, I completely zoned out on the last part. You said you'd hike 4 miles, which is...
Oh, yeah. To get back from the cave to Yosemite Valley, where all the stores and restaurants are.
It's worth it just to hang out, too.
Yeah, and 4 miles, it goes by quick when you're used to just walking all day.
So how many miles a day would you walk, typically? Like, on an average day?
My highest day I got was 36, and then in the desert, I'm probably averaging around... Once I got my hiking legs underneath me, I'd average around 25. And then once I hit the high Sierras, it dropped to like 18, 16.
Okay.
Because you'll be going 8 miles and you'll be going 8,000 feet up. And then 4 miles, 6,000 feet down. And then 5 miles, 8, because you're just going back into a valley, back into a valley.
That'd be hard.
Nonstop. And the downhills I did pretty good with, but people that have knee problems struggle real hard on the downhills.
Oh, wow. I didn't even think about, yeah.
The uphills kick my ass, though. I mean, I couldn't handle them.
Yeah,
and so once you get to the steep, because there's some parts where it'd be over a mile, it'd be 2,000 uphill, which I mean, it got pretty rough. So it'd be like I'd hike for a 1/10 of a mile, stop, catch my breath, hike for a 1/10 of a mile, stop, and then I'd kind of haul ass going downhill, just kick it out in one stretch.
Right, just get it over with.
The high Sierras are also, that's the reason to hike.
I couldn't even imagine the just the soreness from it, honestly.
The soreness, you don't get soreness by the time you get there. Once you get your hiking legs, after about a month, I mean, if you're walking on flat ground, you could walk forever.
Hiking legs, I like that.
That's what you call them, yeah.
Fatty quads.
It's a real fat. The calves get nice too.
Not bad.
All the uphills, get your tippy toes. Oof. But you don't really get you get tired, your lungs get going, but your legs don't hurt anymore. I mean, it's
really okay.
Really, all it is breath issues, just because you've been doing it for. By the time you get to high Sierras, remember that's mile 702 once you even hit the Sierras, and that's not even the high Sierras.
Okay.
And so it's around by the time you get to the big all the big passes that you're hitting, 13,000, 14,000 feet. Those are all mile 900-ish, and so you've been hiking for 2.5 months. Your legs aren't too bad anymore.
Right. Yeah, I'd imagine a weekend or 2 weeks in would be the worst, and then you kind of just get over it. body will find ways to recover. That's so cool.
The first 2 weeks are the worst, though. The first 2 weeks are the worst because you'll get blisters, you'll pop the blisters, you'll re-get the blisters, and then once you switch up shoes, they get bad again as well.
Oh yeah, sure. Whenever you went from your boots to your actual tennis shoes, yeah.
Yeah, because you kind of wear them in, and you're kind of used to them, and the next thing you know, you have some tight shoes, no give to them, and they just start destroying your feet all over again.
Yeah, start messing up your feet in different ways that the other shoes didn't really bother too much.
Yeah,
makes sense.
Exactly.
So, are you more like grateful for everything you have here, or because of it, or did it kind of add some gratitude to your life?
I think it should have.
Okay.
To answer your question, what I found more is I don't use. I just don't use as much. Like, I don't watch TV as much as I used, just because it kind of got me out of the. And it's not like I choose. It's not like a conscious decision. If you know what, I hike the PCT and I'm gonna be a wholesome person and all that. It's not like that.
I'm a changed man.
You know,
I hike the PCT.
I'm a hippie now. I don't even believe in TV.
Yeah.
But it's more of just. I also eat a lot more ramen. I eat ramen a lot now, and that's kind of the biggest change. Grateful. I mean, I am grateful for everything I have, obviously.
Right.
And I'm grateful for cars and being able to travel a little bit quicker. But I don't think it's been that much of a. When I got back, definitely it was.
Okay.
And it was the weirdest part was riding on the airplane to get back to Missouri, was because you're sitting over and you sit there for an hour. And you look at the ground go by, and you're like, well, that was my last 3.5 months. That distance, that's 3.5 months. Holy shit. I mean,
wow, yeah, that's so true.
You're just watching go down and be like, every 10 minutes, you're like, well, that was a week of hiking. That was a week of hiking. Just over and over. So that was kind of like the big, shock. Travel is just so much quicker.
Yeah.
But
make you grateful for that. Absolutely, I can see that.
Yeah, because one of the small little calculations I kept up with while I was walking was every time I would have been a walk to St. Louis. So I've been like,
okay,
all right, that would have been one trip, because that's a car ride I've made enough times. So once I got to mile 280 or whatever it is,
right.
I'd be like, well, that's one trip to St. Louis from Springfield. And then when I got back, I'm like, well, that would have been me walking to St. Louis and back.
Yeah.
Back.
That's a cool way to think about it. Yeah.
So I think I would have done it 6 times. One-way trips.
Wow.
Or something like that.
I've made that drive a few times as well, and that's not a short drive. That's crazy.
But
1,400 miles.
That's what, and also the whole I would walk 500 miles song means a little bit more to me now, too.
You hear that song, it's like, I feel you, homie. I feel
only
you.
500, come on.
Weak.
I would walk 1,400 miles for no reason, I guess, except to do it.
Oh, in that other song, it's like, I'd walk 1,000 miles. White girls, white chicks.
I'd do it for you. I mean, I'd like the PCT for a chick, I guess. I did it for myself.
Yeah, true. Well, would you do the PCT again, or would you do the Appalachian, or maybe something outside of this country?
I don't know. I really don't. I'm wanting to start planning the next one. I haven't gotten to it.
Respect. That's cool that you're doing something like this again.
I think
that's
you
awesome.
have to, and I don't know how often I do it, but I think I've done it once, and I think I'd have to do it again. And if I did do the PCT again, though, I think I'd start over, because I'd want to make it a through hike.
Respect.
And I had fun the half I did, so might as well hit that half, and then have fun the second half, see some new stuff.
Yeah.
But the Appalachian Trail's definitely on the list too.
So you plan to even do it after doing the PCT again? You plan on doing like the Appalachian or something like that?
And probably not back-to-back years or anything, but they're all on my radar. I'm gonna do something again. I know that. And so whether I do the Appalachian Trail, then I go back to the PCT.
So have you done anything else kind of like wild like this, or?
I mean, nothing to this extent, nothing this long. I mean,
because I admire this so much. I think this is the coolest thing. I love the idea of just doing something this just bold and daring.
Yeah,
super cool.
It sounds a lot harder than it is.
Right.
That's the one thing. It's you get out there and then you realize it's just life. Except, I mean, you've walked. You know what walking is. You know what walking with a backpack on is. It's just that, and just over and over again. I mean, that's the only difference. And it's almost like if you have $3,600. You're like, all right, I go to Europe for 2 weeks, or I could take 5 months and go hike the PCT. And
yeah, good point.
I would do it. I mean, it's 5 months for something you remember forever.
True. That's a good. I like that comparison. Yeah, I think I'd rather go to Europe though. I know, but then again, it's only 2 weeks. I mean,
there's nothing wrong with going to Europe.
Right,
I mean, that's also a different perspective change. But it's 2 weeks. You know what I mean? It's
versus 5 months.
And I mean, you go to Europe. I mean, I've never been to Europe, so I can't talk. But
right.
I kind of feel like it's probably going to be like, a trip to Washington or a trip to somewhere you've never been before. Just seeing the same stuff, riding around on trains, staying in hotel rooms. That whole deal. This is also pushing yourself, and it's a weight loss program too. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah. Did you lose any weight, or did you?
I lost.
Notice yourself eating more? Or?
Oh, I ate a lot more, and I've lost like 38 pounds over this.
You lost 38 pounds?
Yeah.
In 3 months?
3.5.
Wow.
And I lost 3 of those in the first month, which probably wasn't healthy.
Wow.
And then I put a little bit back on, and I lost it again.
Wow.
But I went on at like 203, and I came off at like 165 or something like that.
Wow.
So hey, anyone who's looking to lose some weight,
just walk an extensive period of time. That's crazy, dude.
I mean, yeah, we'll do it for sure. And you can eat what. That's the fun part too. Is there's no dieting involved either. You eat as much as you can, but the amount of calories you burn,
you're always gonna lose weight.
You can't pack enough food to keep your weight on. I mean, if you want, everyone at least loses a lot of fats, which is, I mean, some people put it back in muscle. And I think everyone I met that lost at least a decent amount of weight.
Like at least 5 pounds.
Yeah,
more.
at least 5 to 10 pounds. I mean, you kind of have to. It's hard. It's hard to keep up with the calories.
Absolutely. I feel like what I would do, and maybe this isn't like smart because it's so heavy, but I just bring a jar of peanut butter.
Oh yeah, everyone does. The peanut butter's a go-to. Yeah, because you don't have to cook it. You just spoon it out and eat it, or figure whatever. Put on tortilla. That was my go-to.
Okay.
Take it up, and then I'd roll it up like a little cheese roll-up and fill with peanut butter and just munch on that while I walk.
Super calorically dense too.
Yeah. Oh.
A ton of calories packed in.
With the bread and then just peanut butter. That was another funny story in Yosemite. I was a little bit, drank a little bit much, and I was late night, and everyone else was asleep, and I was just cowboy camping, just like I was saying, my sleeping bag on my sleeping pad, and I was making peanut butter tortilla. And so I spread it on, and I was rolling it up. I had my peanut butter sitting like right behind me. And I was laying down, and I was listening to an audiobook or something. I started eating it, and I hear a little noise. And I turn around, and there's a raccoon literally about where my hand is right here.
No way.
Sitting there munching on my peanut, or just like poking at my peanut butter.
No.
And then I turned around and stepped back, and I took it. I just chugged my peanut butter, and the raccoon chased after it. That may have been the scariest moment of my life, because I was I had headphones in, didn't hear it come up at all, just eating, turn around, and it was just right next to my face, and I about pissed myself.
Holy shit. Dude, that's such a close call.
I mean, I don't know if it would have done anything to me, but still, it's
that can be an aggressive animal, especially if it has rabies or something.
I've heard. I'm glad it wasn't.
Like a raccoon would be just... I feel like you would end up winning the fight, but it can mess you up a little bit,
Scratch me up a little bit. It wouldn't feel good.
Absolutely. Well, is there anything else you want to talk about, or you want to wrap this up?
I gotta pee pretty bad, so
that's fair. Yeah, I gotta piss too, so we'll just end it on that, honestly.
Yeah, alright, well, we'll go take a piss.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks for having me, though.
Yeah, thanks for coming on, man.
I love what you're doing. I really do. The whole podcast thing I've dreamt about for a while, and
you should totally
I'm glad you take the steps, and I'm glad we have someone in the area that's stepping up and putting on a podcast.
Well, I've always been really into YouTube and all that. Like, I had a YouTube channel. I still use my old YouTube channel, so I have old videos and whatnot. I was really into that my freshman year of college. Then I got on the Vine app, and I got way more popular on there. And then I think I got close to 10 million loops total.
Oh, jeez.
So I was I've always kind of been into this stuff.
You like the web presence?
And then, I enjoy it. It's fun. It's fun.
I want to start podcasting.
Absolutely, you should.
That's what you're saying. I don't know if I could. I don't know if I pull it off, but I've watched a couple of your videos. You pull it off real nice. I like your setup.
Thank you.
And they can't see the whole thing, but it's a dope little spot.
Yeah, I got the little lights up here. Just like I said before, doing what I can with what I got. So
no,
it's working. It's working.
Loving it.
Gets the job done.
All right,
Thank
man.
you for coming on again,
Well,
Ryan.
thanks for having me.
Super interesting, and I think you could start your own podcast. You're very personable, very social dude.
Well,
I mean, you
appreciate
think
it.
about it. You just kept talking, so you could probably find your niche. You could, even if you're just talking about hiking or whatever it is.
Well, hey, maybe. If I ever do, I'll have you on. You just gotta hike a trail.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, we could do a hiking podcast.
We could hike while we do
Both
it.
had mics somehow.
Yeah, just strap it up and do it on the trail.
Absolutely. All right, cool.
Well,
Thank you for watching. If you made it this far, appreciate your time. And I really enjoyed this. This was fun. This was a good time. Cool. Bye.